What's up, guys? It's John with National Sports Entertainment, and we got shut down, Justin. Yeah, if you watch my first ever video, you will see that it says redesign, rebuild, reclaim on the front. It's the first video on this channel. You will see that we were yanked on Christmas, right around 996. We were probably at 999 people who had chosen to subscribe. And yeah, they yanked us because, again, we're the only ones out there actually helping people and actually winning money, and that's what they can't have. So, yeah, I'm glad you were able to find the channel. Again, people are trickling back in, and we're having new people plus people that are aware of what happened to the old channel. So we're just going to keep plugging forward. We're certainly not going to just stop. So, yeah, so I appreciate the concern. But, yeah, that's what happened. Yeah, in my first video, I go over all that because while I like to explain to people what's been going on, I can't belabor on every video for those who might have missed it. Now, why did I make this video? Why am I making this video? Because I think Cowboy fans are going to be happy. So, for the numerology people and for the symbolism people, there is a team that I'm seeing a lot of symbolism adding up for, and it's the Dallas Cowboys here. Now, I will say my assessments for anyone that's known at the very beginning of the year was Niners-Ravens. When I could see that they weren't doing much with Lamar, it changed to Niners-Bills, and it's been steadily that since, and not much would move me off the Niners. Now, we had Jimmy G get hurt, and I had way more confidence in the Jimmy G comeback story than Mr. Irrelevant. He's from Arizona, so it's interesting. But I want to go into this because for people that might be on the fence, maybe this will push you over the top. I like to look at things from every perspective. I'm indifferent to who wins. So why am I suddenly thinking the Cowboys have a couple reasons they might win? Well, if we look at the last time they won a Super Bowl, it was in 1996, 27 years ago. And they won by a score of 27-17. Now, it was against the Pittsburgh Steelers. And what makes that interesting is, of course, they tie in with Franco Harris, who just died, and the fact that from Pittsburgh is our own Damar Hamlin. So, furthermore, they won in Arizona, in Sun Devil Stadium, but they won in Arizona, and it's very interesting. Now, that alone had my suspense up. Now, again, I don't look for these things. They just sometimes appear. They're not always right. But when I was already noticing that Super Bowl 3X, it reminded me of a comment made by our very own Damar Hamlin, when he said when you put real love out into the world, it comes back 3X to as much. And as I said a million times, the first comment is very interesting, isn't it? I just noticed that. But if you know the connection of the brothers, that's another thing we can think about. So there's a lot of different possibilities here. But my point is, 3X was a weird way to word that. I think it had multiple meanings. Definitely not just 3X. But yeah, the combination of those two had me thinking, there's a very good chance here that there's a Buffalo-Dallas connection. Now, with Hamlin, I think there's a 100%. I don't think there's any chance the Bills do not make the Super Bowl. I don't think there's any doubt for people on the AFC side either. I think, honestly, it's just going to be a matter of who he goes against. And looking at the history of Arizona, and it's not just him who said the 3X, by the way. It was said by somebody else. I was just on it. It was on Twitter. I was on Twitter, and they were talking about the 3 missed extra points, right? An extra point, and there were 3 missed, and how unprecedented it was by the Cowboys. So there seems to be a lot of callbacks to this 3X. So for people that are Cowboy fans that believe more in the gematria or the symbolism, more so than the narratives, I think it's looking good for the Cowboys. Of course, I'm still going to have I already have my video. If you didn't see it, it was my last one, and I've done a few others. But I'll go into the Niners. And I'll go into the Bills. I just don't think the Bills need to be going into. To me, it's just so apparent that the Bills are going to be representing the AFC. I was trying to find where they wrote about it. There was tweets and stuff all about the 3 extra points missed. But yeah, so I thought people would find this interesting. Again, dates are very important. And when Damar said 3x, I was on the lookout for that anyway. So the fact that not only did he say it and put it out on his Instagram, but we have it here. That's the Super Bowl that the Cowboys won in Arizona. Just happens to be the one that they're playing this year. You tie in the Franco Harris death. And you throw in, again, the Diggs connection. He was the first one to respond to the tweet. Obviously, he plays for the Cowboys. Brother plays for the Bills. A lot is adding up for Buffalo, Dallas. Another interesting fact, and this is where it gets deeper, but I do believe it's going to be something like 60 years to the day that JFK died in Dallas. And then you got JFK Airport in Buffalo, in New York. So it's not in Buffalo, but it's in New York. So it's just a lot of interesting Dallas, Texas, and New York references and commonalities. But I do think the assassination, and 6 is always a big year. It's always a big one. So 60 years to the date. And the fact that it's, in my opinion, going to be just a very highly watched game, especially since we have probably it's going to be Damar Hamlin. I think it just makes perfect sense that they would do that they would do it, 60 years to the date. They would have, if political things are tied in like I believe they are, and they tie in these deaths and things of that nature, it would be interesting for Dallas to do it. So all the symbolism and all the numerology and things of that nature do seem to be indicating that Dallas has a very strong case for the NFC. Again, using my WWE logic, I always, the comeback story seems to make sense for San Francisco. Of course, they can put that on the back burner. They could always run that next year, whether it be with Brock or Jimmy on another team. So they could run the comeback story another year. This one with the symbolism and the numerology kind of already out there in our faces. The 3X is the biggest one I took from it, but there's a lot more. Then I think there's a good chance that Dallas might be the right horse to ride. So I just wanted to put this out for people. I haven't seen much people talking about different teams, and you see it after the fact, and it's easy to do it after the fact. So I thought before the fact we would look into it and see if we're on to something here. So let me know what you think. I think people will be happy because there's a lot of Cowboys, people that like the Cowboys that are telling me Dallas. So I thought I'd look into it, and I would, try and invoke my own logic. Also, what's interesting is the Super Bowl is February 12th, I believe, 2/12, and Kennedy died on 1/1/22. So the dates even almost match up. And as I told you already, I think the seeding and all those numbers are important as well. They'll be playing a 2 seed and then probably a 1 seed if they were to do this, because they'd probably be playing, or it'd be a 2 and a 2 seed. It'd be 2-2. So you can see how the numbers like to just really jump in your faces, the 2-2. And then when they need it to be the XXX, that's all we're hearing about. And then next it'll be the XYZ and ABC. Whatever it is, they'll make a point of talking about that. But yeah, there wasn't a lot of teams where it jumped out at me, where I felt like, okay, this team for sure is, has a lot of... The Bucs had it with 8-3 and Tom Brady and his birthday, but I never really bought that. That's why I never entertained the Bucs. But this one I'm willing to entertain, just because they're really getting behind it. And I think there's a chance. I think the numbers add up enough. And I thought the 3X was a weird way of Damar Hamlin explaining how he felt he was loved by the people. So yeah, if you guys let me know what you think, with Franco and everything else, don't forget they played Pittsburgh this year, so there's a lot of tie-ins, and I think it's not a coincidence. So take care, everybody, and happy earnings.